So Chris, what is puppy love?
Puppy love is an idea. It grew out of my original marketing plan. This is the third iteration of bringing my IP to market. And the first, the company was called Decision Fuels because that's what I was selling. It was making the most of the information you had in your organization. It was designed specifically for businesses, and it was going to tell you what was really going on. Another nickname I had for it was Spock in a Box, because it was the ability to distill everything into clear, actionable intelligence, for lack of a better word, that you could then make decisions knowing full well the implications on every aspect of your organization. So my marketing plan was to give it as a gift to as many nonprofits as I could identify, because A, they were more likely to try something new if it was free. B, it could do a tremendous amount of good for them, including giving donors absolute clarity as to what was happening with the money that they donated. And my hope was that the people that did support these different nonprofits would be people that owned enterprises that might be looking for software, and they would be inclined to at least give me a try, because I was supporting something that they cared deeply about. So Puppy Love is based on the acronym Personal Universal Preferred Protocol Enactment Engine, which is the consumer product that I want to develop as an app and put ERP equivalency of SAP or Oracle in the hands of everyone that has a scheduling issue, planning a family reunion, managing a Girl Scout troop, a magazine drive, doesn't matter. And what I foresee is an organization that supports two charities, and the puppy love side is companion animals for veterans and children with long-term emotional needs. I would like to see that organization manned almost exclusively by veterans, where possible disabled veterans, and I believe that over 80% of the positions can easily be filled in that fashion.
And veterans, you said, why veterans?
Veterans, first of all, just a little personal history. My great-grandfather lost a leg in World War I. He was one of my heroes growing up. He was very quiet, but with 1930s generation prosthesis, he won his company bowling tournament 5 years in a row. He was a watchmaker. He built all his own. He made a set of his own teeth. He was just a fascinating guy, and he was just very quiet, just always do the right thing, not make a big deal about it. He really just wanted to be outside watering his snapdragons. That was his favorite thing in the world. And I remember going to the War Amps parade with him. And I grew up in Canada, and every year the War Amps, they send out at Easter little key tags, so if you ever lose your keys, you just drop it in any mailbox. So it was a part of growing up, and it was something that was very important to me to give back. 9/11, I tried to enlist. I was 17 months, I think, too old at the time. But I am very, very, very grateful for the people that make it possible for the rest of the people to go around oblivious to what's really happening in the world. I don't believe it's a safe place in and of itself. I believe it requires people to keep it safe. And my kids have never seen me in close proximity with someone in uniform without me going over to thank. In fact, I was going to say without me going over to thank them, but one of the dorkiest things I ever did, we arrived in New York for the Republican convention in 2004. And we came upstairs into Grand Central Station, and everywhere you looked, there were soldiers, and there were police everywhere. So I immediately walked up to the first person I saw, and I wanted to shake his hand, and he's standing there with his rifle in his hand, looking at me like I've lost my mind. But it's an ingrained thing to try and give thanks. to our veterans, and that's why it was very important to me to have veterans be part of it. And the reason I chose companion animals is, again, it's a personal thing. When I got divorced, someone gave me a rescue dog. And I know for certain there were days I wouldn't have bothered to get out of bed to look after me. And having Buddy to look after saved my life. So I know the impact that can have, and if I can give someone a reason to get out of bed, then that'll be a good day's work.
You mentioned 2 charities. What's the second one?
The second one is GUPPEE Love, and that's for any contracts that go to the government, and that is to preserve fresh water and to provide drought management solutions. The fresh water is a personal passion. I grew up in Canada. I like to say I never lived more than a 10-minute walk from fishing. I do like fishing in the ocean, but to me there's nothing as serene as the lake first thing in the morning. I think it's a gift from God, and I think it should be preserved. The drought management solutions are just one of the things. One of the things that occurred to me as I was building the stimulus response engine was that, if you want to preserve water anywhere that you have a large-scale irrigation system, all of that area covered by a single system doesn't necessarily require the same amount of water each time, and so you should be able to have some sort of a meter system that gives more where it's needed, less when it's needed, and and it's based on things like there not being the exact same drainage from one corner to a mile away, not getting the exact same angle of the sun, not being at the exact same elevation, whatever it is. There are actual material things that they might seem small at each individual point, but over time they can preserve precious water. So that's why GUPPEE Love was the second charity.